Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the question of why God. Something that maybe you're wondering. I don't know which way Ben is going to take this video, and you're soon to find out. There is one way I could take it. The question of why God. Why does my theology, why is what I believe here on this channel important? Why do I believe in God? Now that's for a later video, but today we're going to be talking about the question of when we sit down, we're in a circumstance, we're in a situation, and we ask, God, why? Why am I here? Why am I struggling to have kids? Why am I struggling to make ends meet? Why am I living in the place that I'm living in? Maybe it's just why, God? Why traffic? Whatever it is, it can be circumstantial, but we're going to cover that question of why God. Well, like I said, we're going to be covering the question, why God? This is a topic that, honestly, I started to think through as we worked our way through the Psalms. We're right now going to be diving into Psalm 19 in our next video. And there was this theme within the Psalms. We've talked about the theme of David, crying out and saying, God, why am I in this situation? God, help me. Here's my situation. Here's my circumstance. And then we see this moment where God fixes it. He comes in. A lot of the times within the beginning of the book of Psalms, we see him use the same thing that David was struggling with to defeat his enemies. And that is fantastic. But what I think is key, and I want to read just the beginning of Psalm 13, and it's this moment where David asks why. He says, God, I need to understand. I long to understand. And I think that there's something beautiful in that. There's something beautiful in the moment of surrender where we say, God, we don't get it. God, we understand you're in control, but can you just help me understand? And I believe that is healthy. And so within chapter 13, verse 1, it says, How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? And I've wondered, when is the last time, and I know we've talked about praying and talking to God, but specifically why or when have you asked him why? Have you sat down? And what I wrote, kind of the first thing I want to talk about, was there something healthy when you sit down and you write out? I think we've all done this. Our parents have said, go think about it. Go to time out. Go think about what you've done. And you do learn a lot within that process of thinking about what you've done. And so the first thing I want to say is just write it down. So I have a notepad here that actually is my wife's. My wife uses this all the time. And what I learned from her is she sits down when she's going to do something. She either creates a list or she begins to just write down her thoughts, her goals, her achievements for the day, the things that she wants to do. And I do that as well, but I learned it from her of understanding that, man, there's something good when you start to write, you start to think through the process, you start to think through where you want to go. You maybe even start to realize that you get clarification within that process of writing down. So I'm going to challenge you today to write down a few things that you want to ask God. Maybe you need to stop and pause the video and say, all right, I'm going to write down a few things that I'm going, why God? Again, we go back to, could be a circumstance, could be a struggle to make ends meet, could be just the traffic on the way home. Like you sit there and go, like, why me? Or maybe it's those days where it just feels like a domino effect. It's like you didn't have you didn't have hot water when you got up to take a shower. You ran out of cereal when you went to eat breakfast. You ran out of gas on the way to work. You left your lunch on the counter, didn't have lunch while you're at work. You were late picking your kids up on the way home. And it's just like this domino effect. And you go, why God? Why me? And so I think it's a question we've all asked. So take a moment, write those down, because I believe there's something healthy in that. And that leads into the second thing, that this process can bring up clarity within the situation. I wrote that there is clarity to understand that God doesn't promise our stories will make sense in and of themselves, but he promises you will find a greater purpose in him. And we've talked about that before, of finding his perspective on situations. And I'll hint at that a little bit again, but we don't always understand his perspective. I tell my students all the time within student ministry that, guys, you will not understand where you're going to be. You don't understand the final product. Just understand that he has put you here for a reason. He chooses the best person for the right time. Own your calling, own your situation, and seek clarity in that. So maybe you need to sit down and ask him why. Now, lastly, what do we get out of asking him why? Some of you may say, like, I don't want to be the person that just sits there, why God, why me, and I'm all angry and fearful. And I get that. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not saying to be angry and discomforted every single day in your situations, but it is healthy to have a conversation with him. That's prayer. That is our calling on life, is to have a relationship with him. It's not just a thing where we get what we want. That's not a relationship. A healthy relationship is you asking and then receiving and giving back to him. And so I wrote, what can we get out of asking why? And so I found this quote online, and it is beautiful. It says, How might God use your current trial to glorify himself? How might God use your weakness or disability to display his power? How might God use your hard circumstances to show you something about himself? Or how might God use your hard circumstance to show you something about yourself? How might God use your pain for purpose? How might God make this mess into a message? How might God use your current chaos to make you into a man or woman who walks by faith and not by sight? How might God use your situation to show you that true peace is found only in him? How might God use a death within your family to stir the hearts of others and show the importance of eternal security in the life to come? And so I think there's something to be gained when we sit down and we truly ask why. So I challenge you today to just sit down, take some notes, write down the things that you're struggling with, that you're battling with, that, maybe it's a mental game for you. Write those questions down. And I believe that you will find clarity in that. But I also believe that that moment where we surrender and say, okay, I'm asking why, that you'll begin to open your heart, your eyes, and your mind to God showing you the why, showing you the reason for the season and for the things that have happened. And so I hope you enjoyed this short devotional on why God. If you have any questions, remember you can contact me down below. And again, this was just a 5-minute devotional on why God. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's devotional. If you haven't tuned in before, please click subscribe. It goes a long way, but it'll also keep you up to date on the new videos coming out. We try to post every Monday and Friday, and I do apologize for this one coming out on Saturday, but we have a really busy season in our church, and that is what comes first within my life. And so just bear with me over the next couple of weeks. We have some big events going on, but we'll continue to get videos posting, and I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, click the like button. That goes a long way as well. But again, remember, ask God why today. Ask him for the reason for the season, or maybe ask him for just, God, why this circumstance? Why me? And I believe you'll see fruit within that. So this was a 5-minute devotional on why God.